So very good evening to everyone, and today we are going to discuss
Just a
about,
minute. Right now, yeah, okay. Now the title is coming. Okay, continue.
yes, it is animation. So the cancel culture in racial and queer communities of Black people or Black community. So here we go with the presentation. What is cancel culture in the mass media or a social media? First of all, we have to know that the term of cancel culture has significant implications for defining the discourses of digital and social media activism. Here, the cancel culture is situated within the Habermas and the concept the public sphere with the assumes public discourse and the realm of elites. Canceling a person, place, or thing is socially mediated phenomenon with the origin of queer and racial communities of color. As the trends of Black Twitter in 2015, the meta network of cultural connected communities are microblogging the sites, made the language of being cancelled into internet meme in 2013. Here. So the first question arises in our mind that what to choose, whether we should cancel any particular culture or we should support everyone. uh, Many people are who are suffering from this minority, and the least are the less visible on social media. They thought that we shouldn't live in a cancel culture. Okay, here is some examples of Twitter, the Black Twitter, which was happened in 2050. And they say the best apology is change of the behavior. The people who are in minority are always think that we shouldn't have any live to with this cancel culture. It's better to the idea of forgiveness are very much quite connected with this minority people. Yes, here are some examples of the past and before the few years that after the relooking of the Me Too movement, it has often revolved around abuse, but it has also dealt with the prominent topics such as racism, queer baiting, and all. And here we have such Black people who are suffered from it, as Alice Balance, Alan Turning, Vera Rubin, who contribute a lot for the cure for leprosy, for a computer science, and for astrophysics. But since she was or they are black woman, her contribution remained untold. On the other hand, with the Alan Turing, he is nowhere near famous as other mathematicians. And the last one, Vera Rubin, she was never awarded with the Nobel Prize. And yes, but we have this truth prevail. The first truth is that often untold the truth about the world is that we have always lived in somewhat a cancel culture. The cancel culture is still here, and we are all are suffering with that. According to, if we take the examples of minority peoples, the truth number two is that quite the country, the people who were arrested were often minorities, and the only fault is that of being part of cancel culture. The only fault of being a black people or a female or a trans or gay. That's it. That is what the main concern or the main uh, stucking thing with the minority, that we having a black skin or we having this gay and queer identity. That's why we are suppressed with the ideology of queer and all. And yes, actually, when we call them as suppressed or queer communities and all, actually we are not marginalizing them. Okay, those who are stands, those who are superiority and having some problems with the minority, actually these words and all are not actually blaming or something. It is just like the margin. We are not marginalizing them, but we are just revoking their privilege. They just because of having the superiority, they don't have right to suppress anyone or making any to make any comments on the color, on the sexuality, on the gender. Okay, we are trying to them emphasize with us and the people of color, women, and LGBT people. Yes, the most important reference for our today's presentation is about the letter on justice on the open debate, which was written in the 7 July 2020. Recently, last year, when the outbreak of Corona time. Here is the yes. I hope it is. Yes. A letter of justice's open debate, also known as a Harper's letter, is an open letter defending free speech published on the Harper's magazine website in July 7 20 with the with the many signatures. The many academicians, historians are signed on the letter that now whatever we are suffering from this in the United States and all, I mean all that, including India and all over, we are suffering with this racism and all transgenders issues and all. This is a very criticizing letter to called the true, what is the true liberalism for democracy. Also, this letter reflects the very much sheer ideas of liberalism, which is earlier when it was written in the 2020, it is not as a part of the term of cancel culture, but slowly and steadily it very well connected with the real treat of democracy. It is now connected with the cancel culture because the response of named specific incident which black people were signaled with the institution of calling black and they make their silence. Okay, the citing fear of professional relations and making them as a community of workers and make them silence is now created as a cancel culture. So here we will see that Harper's letters aim to accomplish the whether cancel culture has always existed in a various form, that we all know that cancel culture is still there and it is with us in a various form. And this concern about the Black Lives Matter and the media focus on COVID-19 mortality rates among people of color. So this incident which was happening in 2020, that media, as we know about the social media readings and mass communications, we can see that rather supporting the suppressed people, the media continuously covering the COVID-19 news. As per the Plato's allegory, we are on the ship right now in a very stormy sea that nobody has a hands to control the wheel on the wheel of the ship. The latter supports the free speech, arts, and literature, includes the J.K. Rowling and many academicians, historians, figure who had signed on this letter. Yes, it is a three stock divisions where if we will see, I have cited in the YouTube links also, we will see that they are constantly creating chaos for the COVID-19 rather than this movement which was going on. Here, the restriction of debate. The quote is for Donald Trump, that the restriction of debate, whether by the repressive government on the intolerant society, invariably hurts those who lack power, makes everyone less capable of democratic participation. The way to defend a bad idea is by explore, argument, and persuasion, not by trying to silence to wish them away. While people, as Dan Colwick mentioned in his book about cancel culture, okay, while people speaks in the whispered about their feelings about such discussion was avoided or is avoided, representatives build a movement for justice and equality is ultimately deserved by John Cowley. And if we see that, if we want to raise or if we want to keep this kinds of cancel culture, and if we have to study some kinds of pertinent culture for our mass media and communication, mass media studies and social media studies, we must notice, if you want to better civilization, as the letter mentions that if we want a better civilization, plain civilization, for healthy good and faith, then we have to reasonable for oneself, for as a person, because a nation don't get agree with the unnecessary things ready. The people who are not get the ready for unnecessary things. And of course, the last prominent idea is that we can't just ban or can't just cancel anything, because canceling a person, canceling a thing, properties, anything is not at all to justify them. We have to be responsible, reasonable, valuable for that. We cannot cancel somebody or something because we don't want we don't want the space where entire existence is erased. The ultimate idea of cancel culture is not as to repress anyone or to cancel anyone, but it gives a very prominent idea. Whatever we are suffering or whatever is happening with us, it is related with the cancel culture, and therefore we have to be responsible and reasonable for everyone. Yes, thank you. And here is the citations and resources. Yes, sir. It was from my side. Any questions?
Yes, it was a good topic. Yes. Well presented also. Questions? Yes, Rohit or Ruchi?
Tamsa, uh,
Yes.
is the can we connect this? Actually, I even don't know. But how is there any connecting link between this cancel culture and CA? Can we connect this?
Yes, as I have read that when this the discussion of CA and this all happening at that time, at the same time, this suppression of this bourgeois class in the UK was running on. So we can see that these topics are much more marginalized, more than the CN and all. So this is a very particular example that we are giving the more priorities to our politics rather than the people who are existing our and who are suffering from these kinds of problems. So this is what we have to. This is the only thing that we have to be reasonable and responsible for our behavior. That our priorities should be the very pertinent towards the humanity. I hope this question answer your
Yeah.
question.
Thank you, Kaisha. Sorry, Tamsa.
Okay, so I think Rupa is still remaining.